So picture this. You wake up, check your bank account, and everything looks totally normal. The numbers haven't changed. But then you go to buy groceries or pay rent or fill up your gas tank and you realize those same dollars, they're barely covering half of what they used to. Your savings are technically there, but your actual purchasing power is just collapsing in real time. Scary, right? I mean, most of us grew up thinking the US dollar was this absolute, untouchable fortress. But lately, even top economists and global central banks are starting to ask a really big question. What if the dollar actually crashes?
Welcome to This Explainer. I am super excited to dive into this with you today because we're looking at what could seriously be the biggest historical shift of our lifetimes, the transition of global currency power. We're going to cut through the noise, look at the cold hard facts, and figure out exactly what's going on with the US dollar, why it's happening, and most importantly, what it actually means for you and me.
Okay, here is our game plan for today. First, we'll cover the history of reserve currencies. Then we'll look at debt, deficits, and inflation. After that, we're diving into the interest rate trap, the shift toward de-dollarization, why it's a gradual decline over a sudden crash, and finally, how to prepare for the next era. Let's jump right in. Section 1. History of reserve currencies. The illusion of permanence.
For decades, the US dollar has been the absolute backbone of the global financial system. It holds what's known as world reserve currency status. Basically, this means the dollar is the go-to money globally for buying oil, settling international trades, paying debts, and just safely storing wealth. And because the whole world literally needs dollars, America gets this massive superpower. We can borrow money super cheaply, print currency, and run huge deficits. That global trust? That's the main engine behind Wall Street's booming growth and those cheap imported goods you see at your local stores.
But here's a wild reality check. Reserve status? It is never permanent. Just look back at the British pound. During the 19th and early 20th centuries, the British pound absolutely dominated global trade. The British Empire seemed completely financially invincible. But incredibly, it only took a few decades after the massive debts of World War I for all of that absolute dominance to just completely unravel. They were crushed by explosive debt, crazy government overspending, and a slow, steady loss of global confidence. The pound lost its purchasing power and its throne, plain and simple. History shows us time and time again that reserve currencies totally can and do collapse under their own weight. So the big question we really have to ask today is, are we repeating that exact same historical pattern?
Moving on to Section 2, Debt, Deficits, and Inflation. The debt engine.
To figure out if America is walking down that same path as past empires, we've got to look at the math. $34 trillion. $34 trillion. That is the current national debt of the United States, and it's climbing at a pace that shocks even the most hardcore economists. Since the government spends way more than it brings in from taxes, it just borrows the difference. And the real danger here is the interest. Right now, the US is spending hundreds of billions of dollars every single year just to pay the interest on that existing debt. Not on infrastructure, not on healthcare, just the interest.
Now, when debt gets to these extreme levels, governments basically face two impossible choices. Option A is to raise taxes dramatically, but that totally slams the brakes on the economy. Option B is to just print more money to keep the whole machine running. And if you look at history, governments almost always go with option B. They choose to fire up the money printers.
And honestly, that's exactly what we've seen happen recently. Think back to 2020 and the years right after. The Federal Reserve pumped massive amounts of money into the economy. We're talking trillions of dollars, effectively created digitally out of thin air, just to stabilize markets and keep consumers afloat. And at first, hey, it felt amazing. Stock portfolios soared, housing prices went completely through the roof, and people generally felt pretty wealthy. But, reality always catches up. When you pump all that brand new money into the system and it's chasing the exact same amount of stuff, you get inflation. It's this quiet, invisible thief stealing your purchasing power. I mean, we're all feeling it right now. Climbing grocery bills, skyrocketing rent, crazy jumps in insurance premiums, and gas prices that change with the wind. Even just grabbing fast food feels expensive now. The dollar didn't collapse overnight, but its real-world value is slowly, quietly bleeding out.
All right, Section 3, the interest rate trap. The central bank dilemma.
So to fight off all that painful inflation, the Federal Reserve had to hit the panic button and jack up interest rates really fast. The whole idea is that higher rates cool down inflation. But here's the massive catch. The American economy had basically become addicted to cheap, practically free money. So once those rates shot up, severe cracks started showing everywhere. Suddenly, we're looking at record credit card debt.
Car loans are totally unaffordable. Commercial real estate is severely weakened, and small businesses are struggling big time just to finance their daily operations. Even the federal government is hurting, because every new dollar of that $34 trillion debt now costs way more to maintain.
So the crucial point is this absolute trap the Federal Reserve is caught in. It's a crazy tightrope walk. If they keep interest rates high, economic growth slows down to a crawl, and the debt becomes incredibly painful for everybody. But if they drop rates too quickly to try and save the economy, boom, inflation could come roaring back even stronger, further destroying global confidence in the dollar. It is a razor-thin tightrope with severe risks on both sides.
Section 4. The shift toward de-dollarization. Global reactions.
Now, while America is busy wrestling with inflation, the rest of the world isn't just sitting around watching. They are quietly making moves. Huge economies like China and Russia are actively working to cut their reliance on the US dollar. We're seeing nations set up totally new alternative agreements to trade oil and commodities without using dollars at all. And maybe the biggest red flag? Central banks around the globe are buying up massive amounts of gold at the fastest pace we've seen in decades. Why? Because historically, gold is the ultimate shield when a currency starts to show weakness.
This whole global trend is called de-dollarization. Now let's be real. This isn't going to destroy the dollar by next Tuesday, but it sends a massive, undeniable message. Global trust is slowly shifting. And for a financial system that is built entirely on trust, that is a profound long-term challenge to America's economic dominance.
Section 5. Gradual decline over sudden crash. Dispelling the myth. Okay, we really need to correct a huge public misconception here about how these currency crises actually happen. When people hear currency crash, they instantly picture some Hollywood disaster movie scenario. You know, ATMs completely failing and markets completely shutting down overnight. But in reality, the decline is a quiet, agonizing, multi-year bleed. It looks exactly like what we're seeing. Imported goods getting more expensive, high energy costs, and sticky inflation that slowly eats away at your retirement accounts. It's not a sudden explosion, it's a slow erosion of your wealth.
And this ties directly into the whole psychological factor. Currency systems survive because people believe they hold value. That's it. It is literally all about belief. Once you get intense political division, banks wobbling, or constant government arguing over spending, that public confidence starts to crack. And once it cracks, that slow decline can speed up dramatically. Smart investors don't wait for the total collapse. They move their money at the very first sign of real danger.
Section 6. Preparing for the next era. Actionable takeaways. So what do we actually do with all this information? Well, the smartest investors are already taking practical steps, way before the average person even notices a problem. They are diversifying into hard assets, things like real estate, commodities, and precious metals. They're totally focused on businesses that actually produce steady cash flow during inflation. Some are even moving money internationally so they aren't totally betting the farm on just one single currency. Compare that to your average worker on a fixed salary. Even if you get a raise, if the cost of living jumps higher, you are getting poorer in real terms. It's a tough pill to swallow.
Now let's take a deep breath and keep our perspective super objective here. A weaker dollar does not mean America just vanishes overnight. Not at all. The United States still holds absolutely enormous global advantages. We are talking incredible innovation, unmatched military strength, leading the charge in technology, and an absolutely massive consumer market. The country still holds tremendous global leverage.
But as the source material brilliantly sums up, the real risk is just decades of overspending. Empires very rarely collapse in one dramatic moment. They fade out through long periods of financial weakening that citizens usually only recognize way after the fact, after they've lived through years and years of their wealth just quietly shrinking. The danger here isn't panic. The real danger is simply ignoring that slow, steady erosion year after year. Which leaves us with one incredibly vital question to think about. Will you recognize the warning signs before it's too late? Because by the time the average person realizes what's happening to their purchasing power, the smartest investors will already be perfectly positioned for whatever the new financial era brings. I really hope this explainer gave you some tools to be one of the people who sees those signs clearly. Thanks so much for hanging out and diving into this with me today, and keep learning.